Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us all here today. Today's shir should be the Ilu Nishmas, our dear friend Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear aunt Rivka Bas Gavriel Tzvi, and for Zaidi, Reb Shmuel ben Yosef Dov HaKohen, and B'schus L'Refuah Shalema Bekarov Mishalom ben Sarachel, Miriam Bas Sarah, and Yair Yeshia ben Chayat Atara. Today, we are on page 283 in the Or Avigdor, for those who are following along. And today, I just want to go over and emphasize what we spoke about over the last 2 days. So, yesterday and the day before, we learned that every mitzvah and every avera has 3 steps. There's the desire, there's the planning, and then there's the actual action. Now, only the first 2 of those 3 belong actually to us. The third step belongs entirely to Hashem. And you can want something and you can try to do it, but whether or not the action actually works, that's up to Hashem. And we are only asked to control our desire in that action. Now let's talk about someone who wants to do wrong. So Rav Av says, he gives an example. Say somebody who wants to eat non-kosher food. He has a thought, he wants it, and that's already step number 1. Then he gets in his car and he goes out to the store, and that's step number 2. But when he arrives at the restaurant, he realizes that it's closed, right? And so you realize that Hashem actually stopped step number 3. Because did he actually eat non-kosher food? No. But did he enter the realm of an avera? Yes, because the free will was exercised already on the first 2 steps. And Hashem holds us accountable for the attempt, not for the outcome. Now, say a person wants to do good, and he flips this over here a little bit, and he says, say a person wants to do good, right? Say, like we spoke about this example, he goes to a hospital and he wants to do Bikkur Cholim. Now, he thinks to himself, the first part of the process is, I want to help, I want to do Bikkur Cholim. Then, he has step number 2, which is he goes out and he buys some food, and he drives to a hospital and to go visit someone. That's step number 2. But then when he gets there, he realizes that maybe the patient that he went to look for to go visit, that person already was discharged, let's say, right? So the question is, did he do the mitzvah? No, because in action, he didn't carry out the action. But here's the beautiful thing. In Shemayim, in our 613M retirement account, you will get full credit as if you did everything. Why? Because Hashem, in His true love, says that if you do everything you could to do a mitzvah, you control the first 2 steps, your bechira, your free will to go ahead and do something, then Hashem says, I am going to help you. I'm going to give you credit for step number 3, even though it was out of your control, because Hashem himself is the one that makes that happen. So now I want you to realize the most important part of Bechira, Chovos HaLevavos says, is it goes further in this manner. The most important step in your entire life is not actually the action. I want you guys to listen to this very carefully. The outcome of anything that you want in your life is not the most important thing when it comes to being a good Eved Hashem. The most important part of your life is your desire, your actual will. The pasuk says, "Limud ma she'ifcha," learn what I desire. Hashem told us that. It says, if you have no desire to do good, then you've already lost the battle before it even started. But if you want to do good, even if you can't, then Hashem is going to count it. And Rav Av says, a man wants to build a yeshiva, but he can't raise the money, for instance. Or a man wants to find a ben Torah to marry his daughter, but he doesn't find that ben Torah. And a man wants to, for instance, build a Beis HaMikdash. In his heart, he wants to build a Beis HaMikdash, but he doesn't have the resources to do that. Every single one of those, the will in his heart to do that, gets full reward. Why? Because Hashem only asks you a very simple question. Do you want it? Do you desire good in your life? And that's the most important part. And that's what counts when it comes to Hashem. Now, one of the biggest tragedies actually that we have, knowing that we see this right now, is a person has a different mindset when they're not in a position to help. For instance, a poor person, he says, I can't do anything to help, so why do I even want to, build a kollel, build a yeshiva, or whatever it is? He says, why even think about mitzvahs that require money that I'll never do because I don't have the money to do that? So Rav Av says that person is missing the entire purpose of bechira, of free will. Because the first step in doing an action is everything. Like we just said, Hashem gives us credit for the action even if we didn't complete it. Desire, Rav Av says, the desire itself is what shapes who you as a person become in life. There was a story of a rabbi his name was Rabbi Simcha Zissel. Rabbi Simcha Zissel was extremely poor. He had no money for anything extra. He was very calculated. He only bought whatever he had. He didn't buy anything that he couldn't afford. And Rabbi Simcha Zissel, one day, he called his brother. He called his brother to borrow a couple of bucks. His brother it was very interesting because his brother never called, Rabbi Simcha Zissel never called his brother to borrow money because he wouldn't take money that he couldn't afford. If he didn't have it, he wouldn't spend it. But digging deep into this, the brother realized from Simcha Zissel that he was borrowing money to give tzedakah. Now, why was this so important for Simcha Zissel to borrow money to give tzedakah? Simcha Zissel said, because I don't want to lose the desire to give tzedakah. If I don't have money and I can't afford anything extra, let alone give tzedakah, then little by little what's going to happen is I'm going to just lose the desire to want to help people, to give charity, to give tzedakah. And so Rav Simcha Zissel borrowed money so he could have extra so that he could want to give tzedakah. Whether or not he was able to is irrelevant because his desire is what was there, and that is the most important part. And Rabbi Yisrael Salanter also, there was a story of Rabbi Yisrael Salanter where he was sitting and convincing an old poor man to help build and support the kollel. And people ask Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, I don't understand. Why are you sitting there for hours in a conversation that's not going anywhere? So he told his Talmud, he says, you think I was trying to convince him to give money for the yeshiva, to build a kollel? That's not what I was doing. I was trying to sit there to convince the guy that his mindset should change, that he should at least want to help build and support the kollel. Because at the end of the day, supporting the kollel is what's important. You, as a person, become great not when you succeed, but when you want to succeed. You become a heilige person not when you build a yeshiva or you build a shul, but when just all you want to do is you want to build that. The mistake that people make, and most people think this way, is that if you can't do it, then why bother doing it at all? And that's a very common thing people say in any situation. Rav Av tells us very, very different. He tells the complete and utter opposite part. If you don't want it, you've already lost. But if you want it, your choice, your desire, that's the first part of every single mitzvah, like we spoke the last couple of days. And the outcome of whatever happens, that's not up to you. So relying on Hashem in the third part is the most important part. Hashem tells us you must choose. You must choose to do good. You must choose to desire. You have to take the first step in order to do something. Hashem is not going to make you choose. He's not going to force you to do that. Step number 3, that's what he's going to take care of. So what does that mean for us today? It means that every one of us is great. And you could be great. And all you have to do is you don't even have to have the assets. You don't even have the capabilities in order to get something done. You don't need money. You don't need any kind of talent. You don't even have to finish the job that you started out to do. Right? All you need to do is want. You just want to be a better parent. You want to learn Torah. You want to give tzedakah. You want to do chesed. You want to help people. You want to help yourself get rid of the negative traits in your life. You want to improve your davening. All those things, you want to get closer to Hashem. And if you want it, that's where you already did step number 1. If you try to do it, you already completed step number 2. And step number 3 wasn't up to you. It wasn't up to you to become a Talmid Chacham. That's not up to you. That's only up to Hashem. Hashem only asks you to want it and to go and try. Whether or not it happens, that's nothing to do with you. So today, let's take on the most powerful decision in your entire life that you can make. Desire to do good. To choose good. To to want to be a great Eved Hashem. Because in the eyes of Hashem, your desire to want to do good is your achievement, not in the outcome of what happens. Thank you, everyone, for joining us all here today. And as always, I love you all.